I'm Rob Coyle with the Open Compute Project, and I'm our Community Technical Program Manager. So that means is my responsibilities are really on our technical contributions, specifications, white papers, things of that nature. So whoever wants to go first on your side of the table.
Yes, good afternoon. Thank you for having me here. My name is Amir Elbaz, and I'm the CEO and founder of BE Networks. We are a software company. We develop orchestration, intent-based orchestration for large switching fabric, both in the campus and in the data center. And yeah, excited to be, we are part of the OCP Startup Program. Very excited about the OCP, our involvement, and about the community. I religiously attend all the OCP events that I can.
Oh, good.
All the summits and this. And happy to bring one of our clients to.
Yeah, you brought guests. Please.
Yes, nice to be here. My name is Riemer. I'm currently working as head of IT infrastructure for ThyssenKrupp Material Services. So ThyssenKrupp Material Services is a large vendor for all kinds of materials around the world. We also do a lot of supply chain business, also for very critical customers in the aerospace and automotive industries. And before I came to this role, I also worked as CISO for TK Material Services a few years. And so now for me, it's also now very exciting together with my team to explore what further capabilities we might be able to unlock by also switching to more open standards, also to reduce vendor lock-ins and also get cost benefits and some other benefits that we might draw, for example, from bringing in young, innovative teams, giving them the chance to work with something real that is innovative and also driving the market further.
Well, you couldn't have brought better guests. I've heard faster innovation, reducing costs, and more open standards. So I'm sure we'll have a lot to dig in as we go forward, because that's perfect. That's what we're here about.
Yeah, my name is Marco Decker. I'm head of software-defined networking at ThyssenKrupp Materials. So my responsibility is the typical LAN switching part. I was called LAN in the past. We taking also care about Wi-Fi. So we are also going there in this area to a little bit to open standards. But we coming to know Beyond Edge Networks, I think, when we started in 2019. We had first contact, or better to say, Amir had contact with our enterprise architect that was in the past in our department. And yeah, then later when I was coming to the role as head of software-defined network, I was continuing working together with him. And we had some situations to face that we had some outdated hardware in place, big amount of sites in different places of the world, and we had COVID and these things, and we was thinking about how we can, as fast as possible, getting all the systems managed in a more easy and efficient way, and at the same time try to change as much as possible hardware with OCP certified white label switches.
Oh, okay.
So this was the approach and how we was coming together. And since this day, I can say we are working very great in a good partnership.
That's great.
The best cold email I ever got is from DK. We got like, hey, I'm a system architect for ThyssenKrupp Material Services. I need ThyssenKrupp from the elevators and submarines. I think how they do almost 14 billion euros in revenues from metal, from all material that you say, like Jan said, for the automotive and many other industries. So great. And they came to us with this challenge, if it's possible. Fortunately for us, Gartner is a big, not supportive, but, fan of ours. So they picked us as a cool vendor for enterprise networking.
Oh, okay.
This is how TK heard about us.
And that was 2019?
19.
Okay. So this was pre-OCP for you a bit, right?
Pre us joining as a
Okay. Yeah. You were aware of OCP. You were leveraging OCP technology.
I was attending conferences.
Oh, okay, great.
So we were ONF, Open Networking of, and then OCP went hand in hand. And then we were early on with AT&T. AT&T was the early adopter of OCP.
Yeah.
So we were working with them. And that's how we got to know OCP. But they came to us with a challenge that we were doing network orchestration in campuses, but mainly greenfields. So mainly already like like there's a plan. Let's build a network for a site.
Sure.
So greenfield. They came to us and say, hey, we have a few hundred sites all over the world, and we need to bring it all in and then do it with minimal business interruption.
Sure.
I like to say that TK is a real company, real industrial company. They make stuff, they do stuff. It's not TikTok or swipe right or something like that.
Yeah.
It's not a quasi technology service company. This is an actual product company.
Yeah. Highly tangible.
Highly tangible. Trucks coming in and out, right? They need to know what the trucks are bringing, which customer they're sending. So a lot of system integrated IT. So and it's a big operation.
Exactly. So you must understand that when we talk about ThyssenKrupp Material Services, we're actually talking about more than 80 companies combined with completely different history, completely different background in IT, aged IT parts in there. And it's not just the revenue. We have approximately 16,000 employees all around the globe. Plus, all the sites that we run, material site, lots of warehouses. So they are of very different size, of very different complexity. Also, the IT stuff on the sites is very different. In some parts, there's no IT guy on the site. So we have a few IT guys for one country looking after different sites. We have more centralized IT departments where we hold the cold knowledge. But then you have the challenge not just of different complexity of different requirements also in the countries and
Sure.
sites, but also of the very heterogeneous knowledge that people bring with them. So, and whenever a guy touches your network components, you immediately become nervous because you don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
And that's why this whole stuff was so exciting for us to explore together with Amir and his colleagues, because this really gives us a chance now by bringing in automation, this new way of orchestrating network management, also including less experienced stuff. This all together created a huge benefit for us.
So it sounded like you started from a pretty large problem. You have scale. You're all over. You have varying capabilities from support staff on site, technicians, and then each site has a different history. So the IT stack within each site is different age, different capabilities, right?
Can you hit one more?
Yeah.
Regulatory environment. Think about that. You ship to 16 countries, 20 countries. Every country has their own certification for
Sure.
communication equipment. So you cannot buy something in Germany and ship it to Mexico or to Brazil because
Right.
they have their different. So you needed a platform, a hardware platform that can be applicable all over the world.
Yeah.
And what's better than OCP?
All right. You've already transitioned us now to the solution side.
So
Okay.
this is because what OCP does, it makes it real. Networks make it real. This is where the blinking lights are. This is the platform that you need to build. This is the foundation of your network. Now, yes, you can go to one of the big switching companies and they did all the certification.
Sure.
It comes at a premium.
Yeah.
And it's a locked system. So maybe they give you a discount year 1, year 2, they're going to recoup that discount. Year 3, you're going to pay double. So how do I get all these options? Delivery all over the world, support, etc., but also don't get in a hostage situation.
Yeah, the vendor lock-in. Peel that back a little bit from ThyssenKrupp's side of evaluating that approach, taking a legacy vendor and saying, okay, bring everything up to speed. It is somewhat of what the industry does most often. But what were your concerns there? How did you find BEnet? Was it because you were shopping with legacy vendors and you said, no, we need really someone to, how did we get here? How did we get to this relationship?
So we was looking for solution where we can save some money. So we definitely not wanted to spend as much of money for the switches and capex like we did in the past. So we needed to do some cost saving for the business. At the same point, we needed some operational OPEX savings for the business. There was no option to increase the amount of stuff. So we need taking care that we get everything managed with the people that we have. And we are in a situation where we not can send the people around to the places because about COVID. So it was limited. So we try to get everything done as most as possible remotely. Just a few technicians going to sites when it's really needed to plug some cable or something like this. But if we could avoid it, we did it. So, and with this, our architects was going around and Gartner Quadrant, they found B&H Networks. And so from this, we're starting the communication and we spoke about what we can do. What could be a hardware that we can use. They was showing us the orchestration platform, the options that we have so that we can manage the old legacy switches from different vendors, whatever. So whatever we have, they can bring it in one platform. And also we are able to manage the new ones, the white label switches. So and for the technician, it's like he see one switch in a graphical user interface. He don't know which vendor is behind. He just see a switch.
Right.
He clicks on an interface and he puts his parameters to the interface, and the job is done. So he don't need to understand command line commands or something like this. So the job of managing switches is really easy now for us. And at this point, we come to know about OCP, and really, I didn't know about this before, so I never heard about it, and was really surprised what options are there, so that B&H Networks also had their own network operation system developed, and was able to install it on a piece of hardware of a switch that is just delivering hardware, and they put their own operating system on it and optimize it and doing changes, and we as a customer can say what we need. So if I want in the management system, when a switch going down, a red alarm or something at a special place on my screen or on my monitor, I can speak with them about it, and they when it makes sense, they can implement it. So I as a customer can say what I need. And they're taking care about that my needs are taken care of. So this was very, very important for us. We don't want to just go to a big company and say, okay, we need this kind of hardware, the switches with this performance, and take it. So and we cannot say, okay, we need these features. And they say, okay, you can write a ticket for this, and maybe in 2 or 3 years we put it on the roadmap, or maybe we'll forget about it. No.
Or that feature only comes with this other features that you won't use and access.
Exactly. This year we are speaking about OCP. B&H Networks is completely different. So we can bring really in the needs that we have for a business, and it was they taking care that we get it in our systems, and few months later or half year later, we have it implemented and can work with these features. And this is really great.
So Rob, think about 2 keywords that Marco said. 1, migration, 2, abstraction. So migration is minimal impact on business. Impact means downtime. Impact means money.
Sure.
So they wanted to sweat more equity of their equipment. They got the end of life support from the existing ones, and rip and replace everything. Well, it costs a lot of money.
Sure.
It costs a business disruption, and business doesn't want to go down. They don't want patches, they want nothing. Well, you have to go down, but try to minimize that.
Right.
So us coming and integrating and basically giving them all of the abstraction. We don't care what is the hardware underneath. We do care, but initially when you come in, we were like, okay, the switch, the vendor X, vendor Y, all look the same.
Yeah, it becomes an equalizer.
Can come and change from vendor A to OCP switch with 1 click button. Take this configuration from vendor A and push it to the OCP switch.
And then their teams aren't as disrupted either from, as you said, it doesn't matter beneath that layer.
Correct. So that's the key of that abstraction. Now, is abstraction, the abstraction of the hardware, abstraction of the software, and how do we do that in an easy way? Well, as a multi-vendor, we want to give them whatever that we don't have an interest in any NOS and this. We're not trying to push. We really try to give him what's best for him, not what's best for us. Why? Because we are just a layer on top. Whether I orchestrate vendor A or OCP, I get the same amount of money. I just want him to get the benefits.
Sure.
And there's no margin stacks here. Like I buy a white box from manufacturer Y and then put my margin and put the NOS that is tied in, like some vendors trying to do right now.
Sure.
No. You go buy directly.
Take me out of the equation.
Yeah. No. Cut all the middleman.
Yeah.
You know, get the value, and with a very limited workforce, transform a huge operation.
So you've conveyed the benefits and the opportunity that it is. Internal, you've never heard of OCP, even though that's a solution you've offered to provide. As you bring this back to the rest of the team, did you get any feedback either way, positive or negative? Like, oh, well, why don't we just go to Cisco? Why don't we just go to whomever?
Exactly. So most of my engineers like the typical vendors. Like,
sure, that's what they're familiar with, right?
They know about this many years. They trusted in the solutions, and they say, okay, we can try. We test it. So we do some test installations, and the feedback was really great. Many people was surprised. For myself, I'm always was a command line guy in the past when I was configuring things, and I also had a problem with the idea that I give a management system so much control about configuring systems. But now we see and understand how the system is working, that I have much more protection than I had in the past. Because accidentally, I cannot destroy a network configuration. I cannot cut the way to a switch or something like this by accidentally delete something. The system will say, stop, you're doing something wrong. You're doing a mistake. You cannot do it. It will protect, and when it protects me, it protects also the business.
Yeah.
Because I don't have a service interruption for the business, and this is really important. We had also the situation when we go into the business that we say, okay, we want to go in a different direction. We want to use OCP labeled protect white label switches. Then the business told us, yeah, but we know the big vendors, why we don't go this way, we don't do it this way. And they was really careful. Then we implemented it for some sites, step by step. And now we have a big wave. So everybody has trust in the system. They see the performance. They see the systems are running very, very good, better than we ever had in the past.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's also very important to say that the switches that are certified have a very good performance. So we're not speaking about small branch location switches or something like this. You need really good performance switch with high quality. So because in our industry, we have much dust, we have dirt, we have humidity, so we are not in a clean data center.
Right.
You are outside in a big warehouse building where steel is shifted around, where people driving material, where you have dust, where maybe the roof is not completely sealed and you have humidity coming in, and these switches need just work. We need that they're working over years. And I cannot have the situation that after 1 or 2 years, the filter of a switch is closed, not getting more airflow or something like this, or get broken on other ways. So we really need a good comparative hardware like we had with the other vendors in the past. We have this now with this performance, and we have it for a much lower price than we was paying in the past. So for this, we can say we have also CapEx saving about 50-60% compared with the level of hardware that we was buying before.
So
yeah, it sounds like
60%. Can you imagine so if you are buying one switch a year,
sure.
Well, it's a nice saving.
Yeah.
If a company that big, it's significant saving. And I think the message here, that's what these gentlemen make this effort to present OCP and share that experience. Because the idea is to give back to the community, hey, we are a very large company, big operation, SLA, they have their own SLA for their own internal groups. We went to that journey. We have experience of 4 years. OCP is great.
Yep.
And the quality is showing itself. And there's a community around it. And by the way, there'll be somebody else who will come to support them. So they're not tied to us in a sense like they stay with me because they want to, not because they have to.
Right.
And I want all my customers to be in the same approach. I have to work hard to win your business every day. It's not like, oh, I got you now for 5 years. Let me, I try to milk that cow.
Sure.
And why? Because that makes us better.
Yeah.
As Marco said, If we have a problem from our customers, we immediately on it. Why? He has options. He can go somewhere else. We want to keep him satisfied. We want to give the best support, best features. Now, we are not a service company, we're a product company. We work closely with our DKs, as a customer, they're our favorite as a customer. But we have an ecosystem of service providers who provide the service and take our tool and make that. Yes, they could have gone to one of the largest, service providers, get years of support, what to do. Let me pick another vendor and then pay millions of dollars and get no return. With us, it's velocity. You move quick. What OCP does, it allows companies to move faster. And because they, OCP endorses companies and make change, like a change engine like ourselves.
Sure.
But they bring the scale that can answer that. I cannot manufacture at scale at the price that they need. But there are OCP manufacturers.
Right, in your ecosystem that can support it.
And the price that they need. Why? Because everybody gains from that OCP cost effectiveness.
Yeah, you touched on something that I think is super important in the open industry, actually in open hardware and open software, is freedom, right? And freedom of choice. But I think typically some of the perception is that with all that choice and openness that, maybe you have to be more technically skilled on the customer side. But you were saying earlier that, you could make a switch and you couldn't remove the configuration because the open system is sophisticated enough to know that we shouldn't allow you to do that without, being very intentional about it. So I think that's a misconception a lot of people have in the space.
And by the way, if we do have some customers that the system asks them, you sure you want to do it because you're going to do that? You're going to take out and they still make the mistake and say, yes, I sure. And then they take down the system. But what? They can roll back like a time machine.
Right.
And go back a day before to the network they wait on. So I wipe everything, go back a day like nothing ever happened. So, we are an idiot-proof system. But again, this is something where it's this ecosystem that OCP does.
Yeah.
We're not a hardware, like what a software company does with OCP. Well, you build an ecosystem that enables this innovation like companies ourselves. What we make with this intent-based networking and hyper-automation is make it easy for people to deploy OCP. And so we are not, if you think about it, when you go to a very fancy restaurant, everybody more or less use the same ingredients, right? Vegetables and this. Who is the most important? Is the chef. Who knows, to pick the good ingredient, but put it. Nobody wants to go to a restaurant and the people come just, here are the ingredients, make yours. Why did I come here? It's good stay home and make it. Maybe it would be, what we want to do is like, here, your network is ready for you.
Right.
Just tell us what you do, guide it. Don't bother to write in CLI and, and hire people that do a lot of stuff to get job security and don't share what they have.
Right.
So we actually, make it network source of truth, one place, can see what happens all over your network.
Was it an opportunity for you guys? You talked about when you first started deploying it, you tested it using this approach as opposed to legacy vendors. I mean, normally they don't let you roll the dial on so gently. Was that an advantage for you too? You could test it and expand slowly as you built trust within your organization?
Exactly. So this was really great. So doing it everything step by step, and from the first moment we had a great support. We never was alone. So we could ask our questions. We could optimize the configuration. We spoke about what is the best approach to later get everything onboarded on the systems. For sure, it's a big amount of work that needs to be done when you have 1,000 switches that you need to onboard, and especially when you have different hardware vendors, when you have switches of different age. Every switch has a different command line structure, and bringing everything step by step in one management orchestration platform, it's very difficult. Yeah, but Geodash helped us here with their team and with scripts. And they discovered our complete network and did an onboarding of all the systems. So they delivered the network to us. So said, here, this is what we onboard, take a look if it's okay. And everything was in read-only. So I could say, this is my switch in my controller. This is my configuration in real life. The controller is telling me, okay, I would like to do some optimizations in the configuration. This is what I want to change. Should I do it or not?
Right.
And then I can decide, yeah, do it. I click on bring this in this switch or this complete site into management, and then it's completely controller managed the site. So I really can say I bring site by site or switch by switch online in the system. So I was speaking about, I can decide what speed we are going. So when I have time for taking care of the things, I can do more fast. Or if there are other things we need to concentrate, okay, we could step a little bit back. So it was really, really great. And now we are on a point where we have also in the team a really good knowledge about the platform. Everybody is sure what he's doing with the systems, and it making our daily job very, very easy. So the normal things that you're doing in the daily business, like backups, controlling log files, checking error messages, it's all automated, done by the system.
Wow.
It's putting information for you together and display it for you. And you save a lot of time, and for sure, time is money, and that's important for us.
And then was that an opportunity for you, or you as an end user, who realized it the most as you started to scale, as you started to run your migration path? I'm sure there were lessons learned across the way as you went to different site types. Can you talk a little bit about that, of how did you start off slow and then you kind of learned your way and the project started speeding up, or?
Yeah, so we found ways how we optimize our network. So like I said, we have different sites in different countries, and in every country you have a special setup how switches are configured with special VLANs. The behavior of trunkings, what you allow to trunks. Maybe you have MAC security that you allow a special amount of MAC addresses on the port. These things you need to take a look, and then you decide, okay, what we do. We as ThyssenKrupp, we want have everything on the same standard. So in this way, we also try, when we bring everything in the system, we want to bring all the sites to a standard that we know. Whatever place we are looking, if it's in Germany and in Spain or whatever place, the configuration of the switch is the same. The VLANs is the same. VLAN tagging is the same. The security parameters are the same. So we learned very fast that it not make sense taking a look on a separate site and make an individual configuration. We made decisions about complete services, and we rolled out the services about different sites and different countries. So when I have to do changes later on the service, I just change the parameters of the service, and the system is rolling out it directly to 200 or 300 switches.
Across the region?
Across the region. So the engineer is just changing one profile, and this profile is then pushed down automatically to all the switches. All the trunk interfaces are configured. The system is taking care that we just allow these networks that are really used on the switch. So everything that is not used, for example, I have a switch that's just a printer or just printers connected.
Right.
And then I don't need a voice network on it, or I don't need a system for a warehouse management system. So I just really need a printer. But in the past, many engineers make their life easy when they say, okay, on a trunk interface to an access switch, I allow all VLANs, because maybe tomorrow I need a different one. And
right, and want to go back and change it later.
I save the time, I don't need to configure it.
Well,
that's a problem.
But if you think about it, Jens was a CISO before. So he was, the chief information security officer, and now they put him into infrastructure. So if you think about it, he might have the perfect approach to tell you, infrastructure and security, they have to go in hand. And from his, maybe like share your experiences.
Exactly, and bringing in automation here at that scale also helps to feel more comfortable when you think about what could actually go wrong. It helps you to reduce attack surface, and also, you can prove. Yeah, so you can just show the configuration, for example, to an auditor. You can test it once, check once that it is secure, and then you just with some clicks you roll it out to everywhere where you want it, and even bringing in new team members that are maybe less experienced. You can ensure that they will do exactly the same. So
not introduce new vulnerabilities.
Exactly, and having this across different vendors and being flexible, apart from working, it's actually quite cool to see that in action. So we are not talking in theory here. So this is real business. This is where also this stuff gets dirty, where it's loud, where you have all the environmental influences, and still it's working smoothly. And bringing in the standard is really nice to see how it's working.
And it's not one of your hyperscalers that just put another 1,000 Python programmers write code or something. Because most of the experience, my years with OCP, is you have the big companies.
Sure.
But guess what? They are that's their livelihood.
Sure, that's their expertise.
Software, etc. They are so. That's why I like to say this is the real world, not the hyperscalers or the departments and the stock option. They can get whatever employees they want and the extra money because they just make from advertising. This is the real challenges, real world, thus how to hire right people and not allow them to cause a huge damage, not introduce vulnerabilities, because again, those companies, those bad actors, they go after real companies because they know that's easy prey. Then go and in a hunt for a security company, right?
Right.
So even though this happened as well, but
it does. It does.
But it's I'll go for the ones who run a little bit slower because maybe they. So our approach was give them a tool, right? We make a tool.
Right.
I supervise, I make a shovel. What you do with the shovel, if you dig trenches, look for gold, whatever you do, we give you the tool. Some will do more aspect on security, some will do more aspect on automation, some will do both, like TK. So it's about empowerment.
Yeah.
OCP provide empowerment to the world with common hardware. We want to provide empowerment with automation on top of that OCP layer of.
Yeah, I think the other big value from the OCP side across all of our disciplines, whatever it may be, networking, cooling, is standardization, right? And that allows you to build a business on top of that to meet the market. One thing, it's so great that you're here as end users and where technology isn't your core business, right? IT technology is that we often talk to the hyperscale audience and companies where technology is a core business and they have lots of engineers and they have homogeneous environments and they're not as geographically different. I don't know if I have a question at this, but it's just so great to have you guys because it's not every day that we get to talk to the customers of the majority of our community. And the majority of our community are people who work in IT, in technology. So, thank you so much for coming. Before we wrap up, if we look to the future, everyone, and actually first, are you, your migration path, are you complete? Are we done?
No, we still have a big amount of work to do. There are few hundred of switches that we need to change, and for sure we have a life cycle for the switches in place. So after modernization comes the next modernization. So with this many sites, we need to take a look, maybe about 30 sites per year that we need to modernize.
Okay.
So we have to be up to date every year. We have to see what is coming up, what is the next technique that we have, what we can do. So maybe going for the next level of switches, going to Sonic together with BA networks, and this is something that we will improve. So one that is very important for me also as a customer. Please don't forget that we have some special needs. So we are not like a big data center provider where we need 100 gig interfaces. So
right.
in the branches where we are and warehouses, often 1 gig interfaces are good for us, but we need PoE support, Power Ethernet, We need a good quality of hardware. So for us at the moment, power over Ethernet is very important because we have many access points in the area. So the guys who are loading the trucks are running around with a scanner, and they need a good Wi-Fi connection.
Right.
For this, we have everywhere. We have our access points. We are powering them with power over Ethernet. And because we don't want to have this effort with bringing electricity everywhere on the roof.
Yeah, because I imagine when many of those facilities, when they were made, were using paper and clipboards.
Exactly.
Those facilities weren't built with
exactly.
Yeah.
So
Ethernet
what is important for us for OCP to take care about it also. Maybe they're looking about the systems that are used not in the data center but used in the branches with gig interfaces, PoE support. Also when it's different in a data center. Maybe in data center you not need PoE,
right?
But on my branch maybe I have a phone with power over Ethernet access points, and this is something very important for us. So it would be great when OCP is taking care, and the vendors also they're working together, that they are thinking about this, that there are some other needs, not just data centers. So we as a customer, like I say,
you're advocating for that.
We special taking care about like I say, airflow, something like this, not so clean environments, stability of the switches.
Hardening in general, like environmental hardening.
Right.
Something
Exactly,
that the hardware
exactly.
needs to meet real life, not a very super clean data center. So that's it, and that's why our call to action in our presentation was to have a voice for the end user of the OCP within the OCP.
Right.
Because George talked today about the AI advisory board. I mean, all of this is great.
Sure.
But it's not even 5% of the world of operation where networks are being used.
Yeah.
AI, etc. And most of these guys, they have their own. So they're in the advisory, but they develop their own, they have the teams. What the voice that is missing in the OCP, and I hope it will change, and maybe you can help us as well, is to get people like Marco, like Jens, TK, and there's thousands of companies around the world that can benefit from that and can grow the OCP community and contribute.
Well, I think that goes back to my earlier statement is the voices we have and the Open Compute Project Foundation, the direction of the technology and the investments we make are all built on the community. The community steers everywhere we go. So if our community is full of certain types of users, then that's where the technology goes. But as end users, and you're talking about an end user forum, right? Where voices can be heard of people deploying this technology where it needs to be hardened. Well, now vendors or other technology providers and service providers and integrators can see that, oh, there's customers out there that are ready for OCP solutions. Now I can step forward and actually provide an offering, right? It goes both ways.
Say customers, actually 62% of the market goes to companies like this. So when you make in the networking world,
sure,
62% of the ports being sold on an annual basis go to companies like TK, not the hyperscalers. Even though the hyperscalers are big, but they're still not the majority of the market. So there's a big opportunity. We need more voice of the customers, and work with George and Michael, and hopefully with you as well, to kind of get this message.
Yeah, absolutely.
Important.
I think it's a massive open philosophy, and the Open Compute Project will certainly support that. So, as anybody listening here who's an end user or works in that space of that 60+%, come to Open Compute. It's not just for hyperscalers, so it's an open invitation.
And it's important for the community to really understand the business needs. So it's being in security, being in infrastructure, being anywhere in the company, you always have to look into this holistic approach.
Sure.
You really have to understand how you contribute to the big picture. And this is important. I know lots of excellent technicians that again and again tend to look into their certain part of the world where they are working. They are the absolute experts in this part, but they tend to forget about the big picture. So, and you really have to understand how it fits in. And you always have to ensure that you understand, okay, where are the products used? How does this connect to daily life of a worker, for example? Yeah.
Yeah.
And not just look into a nice and clean data center environment as one example, but really what we talked about, really see the dust, really hear the noise on the shop floor, really see how the workflows are going of the materials distribution and so on and so on. And then really see how this stuff fits in and where it potentially could also break in the process. So when you have understood this, then you can also decide, okay, where do I actually have to improve so that the company really gets the benefit from this? And this is what we must not forget.
Do you think the technicians and people who work in the field are more generalists? And is there an opportunity for, as a generalist in IT, to see opportunities more than someone, as you mentioned, is super focused on maybe one aspect of the industry or technology?
Well, definitely. What we also experienced here in our company is that people started to open up, and they were in some parts focused to what they knew from the past. So they did it how you just do it. Yeah, everyone knows how it should be done. And then someone shows up, like a gentleman here to the left, and they open up your mind, and together you can explore other new ways how to overcome your challenges.
Wow.
And we really want to stick to this level of innovation. We want to be again and again an innovative company. Being a company that is that old, you obviously must have done something right in the past, but we know that we have to reinvent ourselves again and again, but being stable at the same time, because this is our promise to our customers. We deliver. We deliver in time. We deliver in quality. You can rely on us. And having this relationship of trust is of utmost importance for us. And also creating this trust will only work when people see the benefits. When they see, hey, I was maybe a bit skeptical in the past. I was not sure how it will work. But then they see that it's working. They will actually open up. And this is what happened. And then this also creates an opportunity for them and also for newer team members to not just having a handful of vendors, a handful of technologies that you are used to, because also you have to reinvent yourself. You have to keep an eye open for what's coming on the horizon. So it is a huge opportunity for them. It also helps to attract and retain talents when they have the chance to see the stuff really in daily operations, so that they can also further refine their skills, discover new things, so they actually also benefit from that on a personal level.
That's fantastic. That in 2019, when you reached out, you probably didn't anticipate you'd have such a cultural impact on the innovation at the company. I mean, it's very profound.
And it really changes the mindset. You know, we also are doing this quite a while now, that we look into agile values, that we look into how can we become more agile? How can we become more open? How can we think out of the box? I mean, agile in infrastructure is obviously in some parts a bit challenging.
Sure.
More in some
Yeah. Like reliability and innovation too, right? Those can compete.
But still, you can show that it is possible. And I don't pretend that we have already reached what we want to reach, but we are on the way. And I think this is the most important part. Stay on the way, stay moving forward. Don't feel too comfortable with your current situation. Try to innovate, try to see what you can do more, or maybe just do it in a slightly different way, which can unlock a big opportunity. That's really exciting, and I'm glad we have such a strong partner on our side. And I think we can achieve much more in the future together.
Sounds great. Thank you so much. I mean, this conversation has been fantastic. as we leave and close up, any predictions over massive changes, technology towards your business, things you've seen in the next year or so? What will be the biggest change you might see, or any final words you have?
So biggest changes will be, like I say, we take a look into Sonic. We have to go to the next level of switches with more performance and also stability, and for sure power over Ethernet support. What is at the moment a little problem on the market seems to be that the power over Ethernet is stepping a little bit down. I hope it stops, or at least there will be some series that stay with power over Ethernet. But this will be what we're taking a look at for the next years. So we will modernize all the sites that are still on old hardware. But like I say, the direction we now see what Sonic can deliver for us. And so I would hand over to, was it Jens?
Yeah. Two things that come into my mind. One thing is actually that we will see an increased, not just war for talents, actually war for everyone that you can get. So we also see that we draw from at least 3 different job markets with our main IT departments. And still, as a big company that acts globally, we see that challenge to have the right people on board, also train them again and again. So it will stay difficult in the future as well, maybe become even more difficult. So we need to be able to achieve at least the same or even more with the same amount of people. Maybe even less in the future. We don't know. So having these technologies in place helps us to keep up with the pace. And the second thing, also, we heard this morning some gentlemen talk about AI in this domain. And this is really now an interesting question for me. What is it about AI? Everyone is talking about AI, and we have seen that behind many nice marketing slides,
Sure.
The truth is a bit different then. And now we start to see the first real applications. I wonder how AI in infrastructure will look like in a few years. We will definitely automate more, and we give more and more to these models. And we need to understand and really see how we benefit from that, because again, it's all about the business. We are not just doing modern technology for the sake of technology.
Right.
That doesn't make sense. We really must understand how we can become faster, become more reliable, also being able to react faster to security threats, because we see this already in action. So the threat actors are already using these kind of technologies. So, and we also must adapt and be fast, be innovative. So these are 2 things that I would like to add here that are also definitely something very interesting and very challenging for the near future.
Yeah, great closing points. And end users like yourself, the human capital being a major issue over the next couple of years. I think that's probably true. Amir, close us out.
Change is the only constant.
Yeah.
When AI, I have no doubt in my mind, will profoundly change the way we live. I'm not talking about IT infrastructure, everything we do. We know we're going to introduce AI feature in your orchestration, so not too long and not too far in the future. And I'm super excited to be. Thank you very much for the opportunity to present this case. And we actually you guys are more invited to join my Sonic talk in 2 minutes.
Yeah. Okay, great. Yeah. Well, we'll let you get to the Sonic talk.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.